Hi, this is Susie G and welcome. Today's video is going to be an old world exploration of the Mission Inn in Riverside, California. Now, Wikipedia states that in 1900, Riverside has about 17,000 people. By 1910, there's about 35,000 people, men, women, and children. We're looking at a postcard of the Mission Inn. Now, as we go along, I'm going to be showing you photographs. But as you look at the photos, think of the time that we're looking at. Horses, wagons, electricity, yes, but no power tools. And where are we quarrying all this stone and bricks? It makes you ask a lot of questions. And even in the modern era, could we build this? That's a question. So I believe we are looking at an old world compound here. Beautiful architecture. It's a beauty from Tartaria, what we call Tartaria, and an old world structure. So let's take a look, and please tell me at the end of my video any thoughts or ideas you have how this came to be. Now, before I talk about what Wikipedia states about the Mission Inn, I thought I'd show you some photographs. I'll let the architecture speak for itself. As we look at the photographs, I should also mention that the Mission Inn has hosted presidents and very, very wealthy and famous people. It's quite famous for the Festival of Lights around Christmas time. When I shared the history, you're going to see why would they, for a supposed boarding house, and you're going to hear me talk about the boarding house, why would they build in this glory? Just getting started. You know, 1910, about 35,000 people. When I saw this photo, I thought, this looks like it is Europe. I was born and raised in California, and so much of this architecture has been destroyed. Thankfully, Mission Inn still stands, but the history they give of it is just nonsense, and you're going to see what they say shortly. This to me looks like Europe. Okay, I had to tell you what Wikipedia basically says how Mission Inn came to be. Now, obviously, this backstory, when I start sharing it with you, is going to be a little suspicious. Supposedly, it started out as a boarding house, and it was called Glenwood Cottage, built by engineer surveyor Christopher Columbus Miller. Christopher Columbus. And of course, on November 22nd, 1876, the Millers took their first paying guest. Well, 22 is a master builder number. 1122 is also a tragic day in at least USA and for the world history of JFK being assassinated. Different year, obviously. And then we have the silly story of Christopher Columbus discovering America. So this is one of these stories where I have a hard time even staying focused, because right off the bat I'm seeing a bunch of red flags. Now they're going to claim because of the citrus boom and warm weather, it was attracting wealthy travelers and investors. And in 1902 it was renamed the Glenwood Mission Inn. And Wikipedia, Wakipedia, whatever you want to call it, basically is going to list it between about 1902 and 1935 that all this glorious work is being constructed and achieved. The funny part is when I try to look for photos of construction, I come up empty-handed. So there's the usurpers narrative that we have been told. Now, this is a place that I have been on the sidewalk by it. I have not been in there. I would love to film inside, and this is, I want to, as the more my channel starts getting going, is do sort of field research, field trips. I did have some friends eat there once, and they said it was about a Vegas style breakfast for several $100s. So that's another reason I haven't necessarily gone, but it will be worth it now to go there and film if I am allowed to film. Okay, I found another little bit of history, the history they're gonna give us, that in 1870, John North and a group of Easterners set out to establish a colony they could dedicate to furthering education and culture. What they found was land once belonging to a Spanish rancho, I think they mean ranchero, alongside the Santa Ana River. From then on, the land became known as Riverside. Now, this is one of the first, I guess what you would say is settlers. Riverside has provided a list of first Southern California since its beginnings. Investors from Canada and England incorporated traditions and activities resulting in, wait for it, first golf course, polo field. See, every place gets a golf course, as so many Tartarian researchers have mentioned, like John Levi's mentioned that, Michelle Gibson, so many others. But perhaps the most important event was in 1871 when the first orange trees were planted. And that's just foreshadowing the wealth. And then let's show, they're going to talk about the gold rush, more people coming, an irrigation system being built. And here's Frank Augustus Miller. And then we have the Christopher Columbus Miller story. And now they're calling it the Glenwood Tavern here. So yeah, I just wanted to share that as well, just because I have such a difficult time. I have such a difficult time getting into the backstories. I read them and then I'm thinking lie upon lie upon lie. And I figure with my videos, I'm trying to give a taste of what I believe is old world architecture or tech, the past civilization that was here before the reset that we are lied to about, that has been wiped off the historical textbooks and stories and just wiped out of everybody's awareness. Thanks to the usurpers, sadly. Not thanks to, because of them. When I was doing my research, I found out that, of course, the Mission Inn underneath it has catacombs. Now, this has not always been open to the public. A certain area has been opened to do tours during the fall season for Halloween. They're going to try to make it a spooky type tour. I would love to go. I don't think I'm going to be able to get tickets, but we find in Old World research catacombs under all the cities and even in small towns all across the realm and in North America, which when I found this out, did not surprise me. Here's another photo. This is Catacombs, a photo from the LA Times. I wanted to show you just all the various architecture that is the Mission Inn. Just old world beauty. Now, this was a public photo. Normally I wouldn't put somebody's wedding photo in there, but the Mission Inn itself uses this photo as an advertisement. They do a lot of weddings there, and it's just magnificent. Pretty much letting the architecture speak for itself. Amazing. I'd be curious if any builders, if anyone watches this video that is a modern day builder in construction, what type of feat would it be without the modern tools that we can't pull off stuff like this in the modern era? You know, where are they quarrying these bricks, you know? And remember, we're at a time of horses, and automobiles are just getting started, but no power tools. How is this being built? I would love to hear from anyone who's in construction. Looking at this dome of the Mission Inn, it could be in Europe. When I saw this photo, Mission Inn advertises this photo on their website, I was thinking this could be Europe, not Riverside, California. Makes you really think. All the lies we've been told about how backward we were, and yeah, not the glory that we have had in our past and has been scrubbed from our awareness. And I'm so glad that many of us are finding out the truth of the old world prior to the reset. Now, if you watched my first video when I covered Redlands, California, not too far from Riverside, obviously, I had found this 1910 postcard of inside the Mission Inn. Again, it begs the question, where are they getting the artisans, even with the population, say, at 35,000 people? Who's doing all this? We're going to get the narrative that the immigrants from Europe brought their artistry skills. But again, this takes money. This takes time. And this town is on a orange grove, agricultural boom. It just doesn't make sense. And also the backstory of it all started as a boarding house. For who? I think Mission Inn is a perfect example of the previous civilization with the Moorish architecture and so much more. And they literally wrote a fake story about Christopher Columbus Miller and just all the weirdness around that story does not add up. Old World Mission Inn, to me, it's Tartaria, part of the Tartaria civilization. Now, Tartaria is a blanket name for the old world, but yes, to me, this is proof of prior civilization that we aren't taught about before the reset. Again, here is a photograph from about 1910. To me, they're claiming this is part of the chapel. To me, it looks like the cross was placed there, and they're using this as some sort of altar. Now, I'm the first one to say I love going into chapels, etc. But what was this prior? To me, the cross doesn't even fit there. And finally, a modern day picture of Mission Inn in all its glory. Please let me know what you all think. What do you think about the beauty of the Mission Inn, the backstory? What are your thoughts in general? That this is definitely part of Tartaria and part of the old world, or no? Do you buy the story? And if anybody knows any construction history on this or can find photos, please let me know. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm just getting going, and I want to thank you all for watching. As always, much love.